Week 5 of the 2024 NFL season kicks off tonight, so we're going to pick every game today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5.
Joe, happy Thursday to you.
Thank you. Happy Thursday.
Happy October 3rd to you.
Yes.
National what day today?
I don't know.
Any idea?
I know, it used to be a thing. So now you did it. Now you did the thing.
Now we're going to have to find out.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, segment 1, we've only budgeted for Thursday Night Football. So we have
Oh.
plenty of time to figure out what the national day of the day is today.
So we have National Techies Day. National Techies. Like if you're a techie, like you're into tech.
I don't know if it's Star Trek or tech.
No, techies. Also National Boyfriend Day. So if you are a boyfriend or you have a boyfriend, be sure to celebrate that person.
National Boyfriend Day to all of you.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I got for you.
Great. Happy National Kyle Eve of Kyle dropping his top 10 quarterback rankings.
Ah, very good.
For 30-13. Just in case anybody watching is a fan of a team that needs a quarterback.
I feel like you've been hinting at that all week, Kyle. It's also National Golf Lovers Day.
Okay, that's a good one for you. I need to take lessons.
I haven't played golf in a year and a half. I haven't played in a year and a half.
Well, that's the kids,
Kids, and I don't know. I like lifting weights instead. So
is that's been the pivot?
Yeah, I guess it's turned into more of a hobby than like golf.
I haven't told you this yet. We turned our garage into a gym.
As every person in the world should.
Yeah. Big decision. I just spontaneously started buying mats, and it's like, well, let's get these weights. Let's get this stuff out of here. And boom, now the whole floor is matted out, and go out there and don't have to
get a rack yet? You got a rack or no?
Not yet.
You got to get that. Good luck on just deciding. There's a lot of choices. This is
a very new thing for me. I'm in my infant stages of having a garage.
You're going to lose an amazing amount of time trying to pick out which rack to get. And so.
Well, I look forward to losing an amazing amount of time with you for the next 25 minutes or so.
Wow. Okay.
Picking these games.
All right. You picked up 2 games on me. So I'm up one in the season.
I think this was the first week we both had winning records.
Oh, listen.
There's some 8-8s.
It's been a hard year to pick, Kyle.
7-9s. But we went 9-7 and 11-5 last week on the pick'em. So we've got a pulse on this season now, which is huge.
Sure.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Let's start with a very difficult game to pick.
Yep.
Atlanta hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an NFC South showdown on Thursday Night Football. Divisional game, short week at home. FanDuel likes Atlanta -1.5.
I do too. I'm in on the Falcons, man. I feel like this is like one of my brand takes that I'm in on Atlanta. I'm lukewarm on Tampa. I think Atlanta's played better football since kind of week 1. I think they handle this game at home. I'm concerned about the rushing offense for sure, and Vita Vea is going to be available for Tampa Bay. Like, I am concerned about that in a big way, and maybe they'll just have to ride Algier a little bit.
Why are we lukewarm on Tampa?
I don't know.
Because on Tampa.
I don't because the edge rush thing. I didn't think they had another linebacker, but Zion McCollum has been very good at corner.
Great at corner.
Right tackle's been bad. Like, whatever's wrong with Kadecki's concerning. I didn't know that they'd run the ball well. I don't know. I thought they had a lot of questions.
I'm taking the Bucs.
All
We're going to be different on the first game. The
Very
show
good.
likes Atlanta to cover -1.5 at home.
Okay.
I like the Bucs. I don't know. I like the vibes with that team. Obviously, they had the stinker at home against Denver. There's a weird Sean Payton layer to that game. I think they've looked great otherwise. I think the way that they jumped on top of Philadelphia last week without Philly's best players, exactly what you would want to see as compared to, it's a letdown opportunity. I think they'll be up for this. And I kind of trust the Liam Cohen, Baker Mayfield-led offense.
You should. It's done a lot of good things. I'm telling you that I've been wrong about my thoughts.
I'm not coming at you.
Yeah, no, but I want, before the Bucs fans do, I'm telling you that I'm wrong. My preseason gauge on Tampa is wrong. But I've always been in Atlanta, and I like the way that they're playing. So I'm going with the Falcons.
Okay, great.
Prime time Kirk, baby. Let's go.
Prime time Kirk. What could possibly go wrong? Speaking of Kirk Cousins, his old team.
Both of his former teams, Remember when he was going to go to the Jets and all that?
Yeah, New York Jets legend Kirk Cousins.
Right, Anthony Barr. There's a lot of history here. Anthony Barr, famous New York Jet.
Wow, I didn't put that together. Aaron Rodgers obviously playing in Green Bay, and
Brett Favre with both. I mean, just the parallels are off the charts. You don't even realize it.
Who did that? Who did that Madden impression? And it was Brett Favre's back, and your defense is in trouble. Hey now,
boy,
now,
I don't have a clue
Brett
what you're
Favre's
talking
back.
about.
No,
I don't have a clue. I'm glad you did that, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Minnesota's favorite at home by 2.5 points. We don't have to pick with the points.
Hey, when you say at home, this game's in London. This is a London game. So
thank you. Right, 9:30 kick. I'm glad we're back to 9:30 kicks though. There's such a slog waiting for 1:00 on Sunday.
Right, but now I gotta tell my wife I'm not going to church. That might not go well. So we'll see.
Go on Saturday.
Okay, there's no Saturday option, sir.
Oh, we'll go. It's only one game. Just do the thing with like the phone commercials and just like have it there sitting on your lap.
I think I'll just stay home. You
and the Lord can enjoy some pigskin together.
Yeah.
Right. So Minnesota's favored by 2.5. We don't have to worry about the point spread. The show likes the Jets. I like the Vikings.
Man, I was hoping you were going to pick the Jets.
Why would I pick the Jets?
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, Kyle. He's so good. Had that one good game against the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, Had that one good drive against San Francisco.
I take it you're picking the Vikings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a nightmare matchup for the Jets offense against this Flores defense and stuck in the mud Rodgers. They can't run the ball. Minnesota's shutting down the run. I think the Vikings might win this game by multiple scores.
So I was doing some research on True Media, which I get with 3013. And I was looking at quarterback like passing efficiencies under pressure in like key situational football opportunities, like third and longs in the red zone. And I was doing it through the lens of I was looking at the college kids, and then I was looking at the pro filters of the same thing to kind of look through and see like, okay, which of these feels like it has a little bit more of a correlation if you look over a multi-year sample size of like, does being pressured in the red zone, is that like a correlation? Like, do the best quarterbacks show up at the top of that list, or do they not show up at the top of that list? And just like kind of doing some rudimentary research on it just to kind of get a feel of like, hey, these are the reels I want to watch for the college kids because it's something that has appears to have a tangible, like unscientific value at the NFL level. Rodgers is in like the bottom 5 since 2022 being pressured on third or being pressured in the red zone.
So that's bad, but like, did you find the correlation you were looking for? Is there a good story to tell here?
Most of the opposing quarterbacks either are good or they can run, and their attempts when pressured versus dropbacks, they use a lot of their attempts to run.
Okay.
Aaron can't do either. So I think that's for Minnesota as a pressure-oriented defense. I think that's an extra layer to look into this game and feel like, man, Minnesota's got a really good opportunity here to kind of get after them.
All right. Speaking of getting after it, we're going to mash the gas pedal down here starting in the next segment, rip off a bunch of the 1:00 games, get into the 4:00 slate as well. Folks, be sure to stick with us. Purchasing tickets can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be if you have the Gametime app. Gametime is the fast and easy way to purchase tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. The app is awesome. It's easy to navigate. They give you flash deals. They give you a seat view. They send the tickets straight to your phone, so you don't have to dig through emails to find them. And I love that they specialize in last-minute tickets. You don't always know when an event is announced if you're going to be able to attend or not. Well, you don't have to make that choice that day because you can get great deals on last-minute tickets through Gametime. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's Gametime.
Our next game, AFC North showcase. Baltimore favored by 2.5 points on the road in Cincinnati. So got to have a game for the Bengals.
I think it is. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Run defense.
Yeah, it's concerning, and Baltimore's in their bag right now, obviously running the ball back-to-back 270-yard performances against Dallas and Buffalo. Cincy, obviously, I think is familiar with Baltimore. I think that will help them. But I think Baltimore's pass defense is coming together a bit, and I think the Bengals' passing offense is coming together a bit with Higgins and Chase back. Like, it's been pretty good. But I think this is ultimately going to come down to running the ball and stopping the run, and that both favors Baltimore.
Yeah. The show likes Cincinnati +2. The actual spread is 2.5. So the show still likes Baltimore to win the game, but the differential that we have scored is 2 points as compared to 2.5. So going to be a close one, but I just don't think these matchups for where Cincinnati has struggled versus where Baltimore is really firing on all cylinders right now is going to be pretty. The Bryce Young Bowl, right?
But also not the Bryce Young Bowl. It's more the Andy Dalton Bowl.
It's, not for playing purposes, but the teams that were affiliated with the trade that yielded Bryce Young. Chicago Bears hosting the Carolina Panthers. Chicago at home favored by 3.5 points.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised by that.
I am too, but the Panthers defense stinks, right? That's the problem. They don't have their best player in Derek Brown. Starting corners hurt. Shaq Thompson's now out for the year. They just don't have a defense, man.
Do we feel like Caleb Williams can do to them what Joe Burrow did last week, though?
No, but I don't think he has to. I don't have a lot of confidence in Chicago, but I think they're going to beat Carolina, especially in Chicago.
Okay, we'll let it ride, Joe. I'm picking the Panthers.
Oh, wow.
I think the Red Rifle keeps on firing here.
I'm sure he will. Points. I don't know, man. I don't know about this Panthers defense.
I don't know about either one of these teams right now.
I hear you.
The show likes Chicago to cover 3.5 points at home as well. The 1-3, the basement bowl in the AFC East. The Dolphins limp into Foxborough to play the Patriots. Jalen Phillips now out for the season. And I asked the football gods, when have I had enough? Please spare me. I'm picking the Patriots. I have no faith in the Dolphins offense. And the fact that I say that, despite having two of the best 15 wide receivers in the NFL, is just absolutely devastating. But that's where we're at. So I'm picking the Patriots at home.
Do you find it interesting that Gerard Mayo this week was talking about benching Ramondre Stevenson due to fumbles, but then replacing him with Anthony Gibson, who does nothing but fumble?
Antonio Gibson, who is just going to put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, that's fun. Patriots at home.
Okay. The show likes the Dolphins, but the show has not properly figured out a way to quantify how bad the quarterback situation is and the coaching staff and the coaching situation. I would argue the coaching and the play calling has been as bad as the quarterback situation, between trying to call it like your very unique starter is trying to call it like he's still there when he's not, and then just putting everything everything's going to be in a behind the line of scrimmage box, and we're going to run one or two guys out into routes, and they're going to be long development route style. It's just a mess. And I think the Patriots are, even without the players that they're missing defensively, they're going to be in good shape. The Bills visiting the Houston Texans. Joe, you said there was some significant line movement in this game to where it is now currently with Buffalo on the road favored by 1.5.
Yeah, it started off with Houston favored by a couple of points, and it's shifted pretty significantly. And shifted actually yesterday. It was -1 Buffalo. We checked it this morning in advance of recording. It's -1.5.
Keeps on going.
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's a lot on this game. Going to be some emotional drama with the return of Tim Settle, getting a chance to go up against his former team, the Buffalo Bills, now a Houston Texan. That was a joke that you were supposed to laugh at, but I guess not. I think
the revenge games.
Yeah,
it's right. The one we've all been waiting for.
The one we've all been waiting for. I like the Bills on the road, mostly because they're coming off of a loss. Josh Allen since 2020 is 14-4, coming off of a loss, and you just know he wants this one, right? So much doubt for Josh and what he can be without Stefon Diggs. I just feel like he might go scorched earth. And the Texans are starting 2 rookies in their secondary. Their defense has not been very good. Their run defense has been especially bad. I think the Bills will be able to be two-dimensional in this game on offense and win it on the road.
Okay. I agree with you that the Bills will win the football game. The show likes the Bills to cover the 1.5 as well. So everybody's riding the Bills here. We have 2 more in the 1 o'clock slate. Is this the most balanced we've been?
Well, it helps that we finally have bye weeks,
right,
and we have a 9:30 game. So there's a lot of good things that balance out the slate.
Thank goodness. I'm tired of missing all the games because there's 8 happening at once. The Jaguars, the winless Jaguars, hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville favored by 2.5 points, which is, I guess, a little surprising to me with just the vibes, which are not great, in Duval with Doug and Press and the offensive line and
the defense
else.
And Ryan Nielsen, coverage, and pass rush. Foye Olakun's hurt. And yeah, problems, man.
So I know there's been some weird one-sided AFC South dynamics with teams playing each other. Is this one of those instances? I'm going to pull it up.
It's the Colts and the Jaguars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, the Colts are winning. They've won 4 of the last 5.
Great. And then it goes further than that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the last 11.
Well, and 4 of the last 5 they've been multi-score wins for the Colts.
Richardson's status is what?
Kyle, I think I have this wrong. I think I'm meant to say the Jaguars. The Jaguars have been winning the series. The Jaguars, yeah, the Jaguars have won 4 of the last 5 by multiple scores.
So this has been a lopsided Jacksonville lean.
Yeah. Is Joe Flacco going to start for Indy? Because that might change my pick.
Richardson is considered day-to-day with
hip,
oblique and abdominal strains.
Probably should sit him for this game. Jacksonville at home. I'm picking the Jaguars. I think they get their first win of the season. Their run game came to life last week against Houston. I think they should run it against the Colts.
And they run against Colts?
Everybody should run the ball against the Colts. They both these teams have problems. I'm going with the Jags.
I don't have enough conviction to go opposite you. If you would have picked Indy, I probably would have picked Indy. But we're playing a long game here. This is a marathon, and I can't just give games away. I have no conviction here. So I'll ride the Jaguars as well. The show likes Jacksonville to cover the spread at home as well. Our last 1 o'clock game, the Browns and the Commanders. Is this the test we've been waiting for Jaden Daniels?
Well, I mean, I hear you on that. Also, if Deshaun Watson's ever going to have a good game, it's against this defense, right?
Theoretically.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
He played pretty well against the Raiders until they needed it at the end.
Yeah.
And then he had the audacity in his press conference this week to say, if I hit those couple of throws at the end of those games, we'd be 3-1 and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, hit the throws at the end of the games. And how about play better? How about play better throughout so that it's not such a tightly contested game? Look, we have a lot of respect for Cleveland's defense, but let's not act like it's been amazing this year.
It has not been. That's very
true.
What
I mean? It has not been amazing this year. I like Washington at home.
I like Washington as well. The show likes the Browns getting 3 points.
All right. 4 o'clock, Sunday night, Monday night, all on the other side of it, folks. Be sure to stick with us. Hey, NFL fans, you could start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook.
San Francisco getting a little over a touchdown at home against the Arizona Cardinals.
Niners played a lot better last week against the Patriots. I think that's good for their momentum. Arizona's opportunistic. I think there's a lot about Arizona that I think could give the Niners trouble, particularly the run game. And we know when you can run the ball in San Francisco, that's kind of when they have their issues. And certainly without Javon Hargrave, you have a lot of questions about that. I still think the smart bet is to pick. I'm just picking outright. I'm going San Francisco at home. I think Purdy's playing well.
Can we have an honest conversation about the regression that Arizona's had the last 2 weeks as well?
It hasn't been good, right? They kind of spark you the first 2 weeks, and then it's stabled off.
I mean, they have less than 300 yards of offense in 3 of their 4 games this year.
Yeah,
and you
a
mentioned
lot of love for Petzig as this bright offensive coordinator, and Harrison's starting to show up. They haven't been that good.
Yeah, I mean they have 146, 200, and 115 passing yards in 3 of their 4 games this year. So 49ers, and the show likes the 49ers as well, and I don't blame the show. I would also like them with the points, but I don't have to pick them with the points. I don't have to pick the head-to-head. The Raiders visiting the Denver Broncos. The Broncos suddenly on a little bit of a heater. A couple of quality wins. Now, the
defense, baby.
The prettiness of those wins isn't necessarily there.
Yeah.
I think I like Denver, and I like Devontae Adams is going to be out in the midst of the trade request. This is a team that can't run the ball. So you're one-dimensional coming in without your best pass catcher. The Broncos are playing lights out. They're at home. They navigated, and I'm using that word liberally, they navigated the pressure that the Jets defense is able to apply. So, you would think that they can deal with Wilkins and Crosby didn't play last week because he was banged up. So I just think a lot of this is coming up Denver for me. I'm taking the Broncos.
Broncos defense for the win. No doubt about it. I think they win this one at home. I don't have a lot of trust in the Broncos on offense, but I think their defense is going to keep them in it. And if they can just score like 16 points, I think they got a chance to win the game.
That's funny. That was going to be my question for you. Is how many points wins you this game?
17.
Yeah.
17 for sure. Yeah.
I think that's a good call. All right. So we have the Giants on the road in Seattle getting almost a touchdown. This feels like a large number. And I don't know how much of it is Neighbors and his availability with the concussion that he suffered against, was it Dallas?
Yeah.
On Thursday night. And there's maybe some hope with the extra rest he could get himself back. That doesn't sound like that's a shoe-in. But the Giants the last 2 weeks have had a lot of fight. And I know Seattle's 3-1. They kind of got a reality check on where they're at versus the cream of the crop in the conference with Detroit on Monday night. An entertaining game. They moved the ball a ton. I like Seattle to win the game. I was just kind of surprised to see this point spread be almost a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to this. I'm picking Seattle. I think the spread probably is influenced in a lack of belief that the Giants could score with Seattle, right? I think if there's anything Seattle, they've got the ability to score points. They've scored at least 23 points in every game, where the Giants have just, I mean, what's been their totals? They scored 6, 18, 21, and 15. They scored 18 against the Commanders. They scored 15 against Dallas. Like, I don't know. I think Seattle handles this one.
Okay. The show likes the Giants to cover the spread.
All right.
The Packers getting 3 points or giving 3 points in LA against the Rams. with a skeleton crew of a football team. This is where the Rams are at right now.
Packers on the road.
Packers on the road. The show likes the Packers to cover based on the current state of affairs of the Los Angeles Rams football team. I don't think we need anything else to that one. It's a pretty tough situation that Sean McVay finds himself in with his football team right now. Dallas in Pittsburgh, couple of high prestige, historic franchises. Yeah. Sunday Night Football, Dallas, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh giving a 1.5 according to the FanDuel. So Dallas underdogs on the road.
As they should be. I think Pittsburgh wins this game, man. I don't like this matchup for Dallas. They're not a good road team. Their defense stinks. They don't have Parsons. I think Steelers are going to run the ball all over them. Fields is coming off his best game of the season. I feel pretty comfortable about Pittsburgh in this one.
Dallas now they won't have Brandon Cooks either. So that for me was kind of the extra sauce I needed to push this game. Pittsburgh, I think they'll. I guess the only question that I have is Pittsburgh is so banged up on their offensive line.
I know.
It's Daniels is now out for the year. Faltanu's on IR. They have somebody else hurt too. Is it Herbig?
Yeah, I think that was earlier in the year, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of in contention to.
So,
but isn't Dallas kind of banged up with their defensive line as well?
Yeah, but Mozzie Smith showed up for the first time last week.
Are you going to pick Dallas?
No, I'm not. I'm picking Pittsburgh, but the show is picking Dallas to cover. So the show likes Dallas. So somebody will be right and somebody will be wrong.
All right.
Our last game this week, New Orleans in Kansas City to play the Chiefs. What's going on with Rashee Rice? Does anybody have any definitive scans?
I know. No, they do. They exist. Somebody knows the answer, Kyle Crabbs. Somebody knows the answer.
This is insane that it's been, it's been 4 days? 4.5 days? And mum's the word on Rashee Rice. Although I guess his posting on Instagram seemed to indicate he got some degree of good news.
I still kind of, I just like Kansas City in this game. I think the Saints are, first of all, it's in Kansas City. That helps a ton. But the Saints, they started with a bang against the Panthers and Cowboys, and then they've dropped the last two to the Eagles and Falcons. It almost feels like they kind of became the team we thought they would be. I don't think Mahomes is losing on Monday Night Football at home. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think the bigger concern is when you consider Chris Jones and George Karlaftis against the Saints offensive line, the ability to run the ball really is a straw that stirs the drink, right? And I don't know that they're going to do it against this front.
No.
And therefore, I am also going to pick the Chiefs, and the show likes the Chiefs to cover 5.5 points as well, which means that is all of our picks. And look at that. 28 and a half minutes.
Wow. Talking about home gyms and everything. And yeah.
Thank goodness for these 4 bye weeks.
Right.
Bailed us out of 2 games and got us in on budget. Right. That's going to do it for us. We have takes on takes tomorrow. You can submit your takes. Are you soliciting takes anywhere?
Oh, yes, of course. On X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it. The Bird app, not Alphabet
submit
app.
Your hot takes. We will give our takes to your takes tomorrow on the show with takes on takes, hence why it's called Takes on Takes. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He is Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys. Check out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. Come back and see us again tomorrow because it is your teams every day.